In the particular instance that you mentioned, like with Kim, how do you make Geef try a jump in? What a damn good question. Again, one of the reasons why I hate this matchup so much is because, again, like if you actually play most characters, so I really need to come up with a good name for this. But everybody has this button right here. Everybody has this button. And I call this the standard button, right? And I don't know what else to call it, but basically everybody has this button because it is just this range. Oops, it is this range basically. So this is basically the standard button right here, right? Because now with Kimberly, you see, just outside of the range as well. Like I said, every character that has this crouching medium kick, they're all just about this range. They're all just about this range. So if anybody complains about Jury's crouching medium kick or Ken's crouching medium kick or whatever, there really isn't as much of an argument as you think there is, because you'd be surprised at how universal these buttons are. Right? So now if I go to Jury, see, so Jury's hits a little further, so she definitely has more range than Ken, but like, is it that much more? Do you see that? Like, I barely micro-walked with Ken, right? And yeah, Luke's is also the crouching medium kick as well, but if I do this and I start with Ken, I'm gonna miss here, and with Luke, I'm gonna miss here. But yeah, you see both of these characters here, basically the same range, with their crouching medium kicks. Everybody has that button. But what's also cool is that everybody also has, so in other words, if I do this with Ken here like this, everybody also has this button. So almost everybody has this great button that's obviously slower to start up, but reaches much farther than their standard button. Ken happens to have like 9 of them, so he has this button, and this button here, which are all, I mean, I don't think Fierce reaches farther than his crouching medium kick. It's just a really freaking good button, but standing medium kicks, I mean, like, I always do my trivia contest, which is who has a longer standing medium kick, Cammy or Ken? And everybody always says Cammy because they're annoyed by Cammys, and she's known for having a long-standing medium kick. But Ken's reaches farther by far. So, but almost every character basically has this button right here. This button right here is usually going to be really good against Zangief. This is kind of your anti-Zangief button. And because these are mini fireballs, it kind of wants to make Zangief jump. Because if Zangief jumps when you throw out a heavy kick, he will kill you. He will murder you, basically. Luke's crouching medium punch is shorter range than most of these buttons, if I'm not mistaken. So if I do that, and then I do this, yeah, see, Luke's crouching medium punch is shorter range than all of those buttons. The reason why it feels good is because it's got a really small hurt box. So when you actually try to hit it, you basically, it just beats a lot of things. This is why this button feels so good, is because it just beats a lot of things. But it doesn't have a lot of range compared to the standard, right? Even though it feels long, it's great. So again, everybody has that button. So like if I go back to Luke, for example, you know, I've got heavy punch, I've got medium punch, which reaches really far, you know, like if I do this, I can do, you know, heavy kick can reach over there. Not only that, but I even just have a fireball, you know. He's got some pretty, oh yeah, and then he's got forward heavy punch as well, which reaches way out there, right? And, you know, on block is, you know, oops. On block is -3, so he can fish with these buttons, etc., etc. It's risky to use these buttons against Zangief, but you have those buttons. you have those buttons and they exist, and they're usually between your standard and your super long range button. That's kind of how you fight Zangief, with those buttons. The problem with Kimberly is outside of her standard button, she doesn't have the other button. She's the only character in the game that does not have the longer range button. So she's missing a very crucial tool for fighting Zangief, because this doesn't reach. This doesn't reach. This doesn't reach. This won't reach. This doesn't reach. Like, literally, her stand medium kick is her farthest range move outside of sweep. So her sweep is not bad, but it's still -10. And you're like, well, just use it at the range where it can't be countered then, right? Just use it at the range where it can't be countered. Unfortunately, that range doesn't exist. That range doesn't exist. Like, she just has this ginormous hurt box sticking out of her after she finishes the sweep. So basically, if you try to do this to Zangief, you will die, right? If you focus on this button a lot, you will die. So Kimberly, the reason why I hate fighting against Zangief is she has no ranged move to keep. Yeah, it's a hard knockdown because it's a punish counter. It's a punish counter. So if you actually get swept here, you just have to deal with the mix-up afterwards. And you're on the ground longer, so they have better Oki. So the question that you asked in particular, John Automaton, of like, how does Kimberly make Zangief jump? That is a damn good question. Because Zangief doesn't need to jump against Kimberly, because he can blow her up, because he outranges her everywhere, and she does not have a way to try to get Zangief to jump. She does not have a way to get Zangief to jump because she has no range. And none of her special moves are very safe on block or start up quickly enough to use in neutral. So she has a hard time doing that. She really has a hard time getting Zangief to jump. Like I said, Zangief can just blow her up mid-screen like this really, really easily. So yeah, normally if you're fighting Zangief with a lot of the other characters, you can just be annoying, hit your button that hits farther than the standard, right? And again, almost every character has the standard, right? Crouching medium kick, crouching medium kick. Manon, interestingly enough, has the longest crouching medium kick in the game. So if I do this, like, you can't really tell, but like Manon actually has the longest crouching medium kick. Oh, I'm sorry, Zangief has the longest one, but Manon's is a little longer. So she has a benefit that way, right? But like you can see, this is how Random wins with her, by the way, as well. If you watch the way he plays, he's so good at poking at these areas over here and then takes advantage of her range to space trap people. If you actually watch the way Random plays, he's so good at the space trap. Like, he does stuff like this a lot. Like, he's so good at this. Like, he knows to poke at this range and then, like, get outside, and he space traps people. Like, Random space trapping with Manon is absolutely immaculate, and I really wish I did have a chance to go over that CEO top 8, because we would have saw a lot of that, because he did this a lot. But again, you know, this is what Random does, and that's because Manon can't cancel her crouching medium kick. So really, her standard button is more of the, her standard button is probably going to be more akin to the standing medium kick right there, because that is cancelable, but it's not a low, just like Kimberly's. And not having a low into drive rush is painful in this game, because if you can't stop someone walking backwards, you are in trouble in this game. Like, you literally can't stop someone walking backwards. So like, if I actually I have this saved with Kimberly already, so I'll just do this with Kimberly over here. If you actually like do this, and then if Kimberly ever jabs you like twice, just start holding back, because there's nothing Kimberly can do. Like, what is she gonna do? Like, and then if she tries to throw you, like, you just walk away. Like, what are you supposed to do? Okay, let's try a crouching light kick. Nothing. You've got nothing. I can sweep you, but are you really gonna risk your entire game on sweep? Because if they just micro walk backwards and crouch, you will die, right? Like, are you gonna risk trying to catch someone walking backwards by trying to sweep them, and if they don't do anything, then you die? Like, you're not gonna do that, right? It's not logical. So again, without that low in the drive rush cancel, you have a severe weakness in this game. Whereas if I'm anybody else, so I just did 2,000 damage and I took you to the corner for you walking backwards. Right? And I get setups after that. I get Oki after that. So walking backwards is very powerful in this game because it gets you out of throw ranges and stuff like that. But a lot of characters can destroy you for walking backwards, but Manon and Kimberly cannot. And that is one of their biggest problems. That is one of their biggest weaknesses, right? Not having the crouching medium kick into drive rush is a painful problem to have. Marisa can't do it. Hey, guess what? She's not high tier either. Lily can do it, but her crouching medium kick doesn't reach particularly far. But at least it's cancelable, right? At least it's cancelable. So she can do something, right? And the crazy thing about this is like, oh my gosh, like Lily's crouching medium kick is so stubby, right? Like, look at how stubby this button is. Oh, look how stubby this is. Look. You want to know who has the shortest crouching medium kick in the game? Do you want to know who literally has the shortest crouching medium kick in the game? Do you want to know who has literally, absolutely the shortest crouching medium kick in the game? It's Kimberly, ladies and gentlemen. Not Lily. It's Kimberly. Oh, God. Yeah, Guile can't, but the thing is, if you're walking backwards away from Guile, Guile couldn't possibly care less. Like, he's like, if you walk away from Guile, Guile's like, goodbye, see you later, right? So, again, every one of these characters has the standard button outside of the crazy archetypes, but Zangief has a range that's farther than all of them. But everybody has that standard button, but they also have a longer range button. Like, there's not a single character in this game that doesn't have a button that's longer ranged than the standard, what I call the standard, right? Every character in this game has a button that's longer range than the standard, except for Kimberly. She's the only character that does not have it. Literally the only character who has no button longer than the standard, except for a 27 frame startup move that doesn't even low crush until like frame 18 or 19. It's so sad, dude. Like, whoops. Like, what is this? Like, do you know how often I've gotten hit by this against juries? Like, I'm like, oh, he threw a fireball. Let me do my hopping kick. And then I just get hit by the fireball. Like, this is just like the saddest thing ever, dude. Goodness gracious, dude. Like, come on. Look at that. Look at the startup on that thing, right? And like you have to predict it. You can't even react to it. And then watch this. Oh, no problem. Oh, no problem. This freaking move that like has way more startup, and he's this giant man. Like, I can do it after she starts throwing the fireball. I can do it after she starts throwing the fireball and still get a punish counter. And Kimberly, the fast character, can't do shit, dude. Look at this. Freaking hell, dude. It's so annoying. She doesn't have any loyal fans because they all gave up on her. That's why there's no loyal fans. That's why she's got no loyal fans. So honestly, I would remove the frontal hurt box on this move. I would remove the frontal hurt box because a lot of times when I'm actually just trying to just like try to drive rush, this move is really powerful. Like if the opponent doesn't do anything. But like it just has like the worst hitbox in the world, you know, like because I'm just doing that too late. But do you see how early you can hit her basically? I'm waiting way too long to do that. Like it's not hard to hit. And so a lot of times when you're fighting close quarters against an opponent here, and I want to try to use this, or even if I'm not close quarters and I just want to use this to try to get out of the corner or something, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work, right? And then of course, you know, a lot of people aren't even aware of the fact that like it's not even a mix-up, right? Like she can't do anything about this. She can only jump away. This is the best that she can do. There is one other thing that you can do, which is nothing and perfect parry, which actually works, but you're basically choosing to perfect parry right in somebody's face. And the crazy thing about it is, watch this. I got 1,400 damage out of that. And if I change the opponent to actually throw because they predicted that I'm going to try to parry, she gets 2,040 damage off of that. So, you know, this is not a mix-up that's in your favor here. This is not a mix-up that's in your favor at all whatsoever. Can you still delay the light punch and still beat the jump mix-up and parry? I mean, I would just have to parry later. And if you delay it too much, like let's say you delay it 4 frames like this, like that still beats this here. But the problem is now I will win there. So you can't delay it too much. So even if you delay it 2 frames like this, I just have to parry 2 frames later and it's the same thing, right? So delaying the light punch isn't necessarily going to change anything for you. But yeah, like this move needs to be better. I mean, again, there's no reason that this thing to be safe on block. I mean, look at that. That was -5. I failed. Too close. Too far. Too close. Too far. Too close. Just right. Just right. Just right. Dude, you can't hit anybody with this thing. Like, they gave her this buff to be -3 if you hit with the last frame. And look at the window for this. That's too far. That's right. That's right. That's too close. That's too close. Oh no, that was right. Like, it's crazy. And if your opponent is walking back and forth, like, you're never gonna hit him with that. You're never gonna hit him with that. And then, hey! Oh, my point, am I like right here? Oh, look at this, -5, but you still can't really punish me. Oh, look at this. Oh, look at this. Let me get my super aiming distance on my light scissor kick. Oh boy, whee! And then for Kimberly, it's like, too close, too close, too far. Like, what are they doing with this character? Seriously. What are they doing with this character? I don't know. I really don't know. And it drives me absolutely up the freaking wall, dude. Like, why do they hate this character so much? And then, of course, on top of everything, they even lie in her training mode. They even lie in her training mode, and they list it as 100% damage at 540. 100% damage. 100% damage my ass, dude. Like, if I hit you with a fierce, that's 630. 100%. Look at that. 1,000 damage there. Okay, let me hit you with 600 with a medium punch. And then Kimberly's medium punch is 540. And it says 100%. Well, guess what? If Bison throws you, he does 1,200 like everybody. If Kim throws you, she does 1082. At 100% damage, 1082. And why is that? Because if I activate my level 3 and I get stronger, now you notice that my medium kick does 600 or 599, I should say. And now all my buttons are like even numbers, 700, 800, and now guess what? My throw actually does 1,200 damage. This is why I always say on commentary, she normalizes her damage. She doesn't actually gain damage. She normalizes her damage. Because everything, look, 810, okay, and I power up here, and now my sweep will do 899, which is basically 900. So literally they're lying to you in the training mode. They're actually gaslighting you in the training mode, saying that is 100% damage. When Jamie, they actually list them at 90%. They actually list them at 90%. So he does the throw and it says 1080, just like Kimberly, but he's actually listed at 90%. Because when he drinks, then he's at 95%. And then at level 2, he's at 100%. And then at level 3, he's at 105%. And then at level 4, he's at 110%. Like, they're actually honest with him, but with Kimberly, they literally gaslight you into saying that she's doing 100% damage. And when she activates the level 3, now she's doing 110% damage. When it's actually just 100% damage. Like even the game itself is trying to gaslight you into thinking Kim is normal. But really, I have thrown people and had them live with like 10 life left, and they have come back and killed me. Because every other character they would have killed because they have normal damage on their throw. So yeah, what would I do to fix her? Give her 100% damage to start. I would give her 100% damage to start. The other things that I would do for her, I would improve her spray cans. So right now, if you throw out spray cans like this, you can throw them out anywhere you want. You can throw 2 out at a time and pick the locations that you want to go. But the problem is when the can is out, you can't reload. You can't reload until the can goes away, right? So even if I only have 1 can left and I throw this out like this just so I can reload, I can't. And I only reload 1 and I don't get it in between rounds. Like if I'm at 0 cans and I lose, the next round I start with 0 cans. The only way that I could actually reload to 2 cans is if I use the OD version of this. So I have to spend 2 bars to make myself normal again. I have to spend 2 OD blocks to get my 2 spray cans again. So what I would simply do is just make it so that if you have 0 spray cans, down, down plus punch just gives you both of them. Just give you both of them. Yeah, Blanca resets to 3 Blanca chans every round. Every round, 3 Blanca chans every round. And so I would just make it so that the regular reload gives you 2 cans. Just gives you 2 cans. Because if I do something like this, so basically if I start with 0 cans here like this, even if I get the knockdown like this, so like if I do something like this, if I reload, I'm still plus, so I can do stuff like that, right? But I only get 1 can back. So if I actually wanted to get to the point where I have 2 cans again, if I do something like this, I have to, look what I've done to my OD gauge. Look what I've done to my OD gauge. I had to spend 4 blocks for that sequence to get back to 2 cans. So regular reload should just be 2 cans. Should just be 2 cans. I can't even hold the damn button like Lily can. I can't even hold the button like Lily can. And so then the question is, if I do that, what's the point of OD? What's the point of OD cans? Well, just make it so that I can reload with OD even when a spray can is on the screen. So now if I'm at 1 can and I want to get to 2, I can actually throw one out, scare the opponent, and then OD reload while the can is out and actually try to get back into the fight that way. So you can only get full reload if you have solid frame advantage or you're a screen away and they just didn't think you were going to do it if you do this. And it's 44 frames, so you need at least a 47 frame knockdown, which is the same knockdowns that set up the can mix-up in the first place. So in the mid screen, like if you can't, like you have to hit them with that to reload, basically. So again, it's just like, I don't know what they're doing with this character. I really don't. I really don't. And again, like, oh, I do this. You notice that the next move is 80% already? Spray can nerfs the damage to 80% instantaneously. One of the best things to combo off of this is air throw, which is 80%. And then if I do the next move here, it's 60% already. So in other words, the can drops your damage by 20% at the start of a combo, and air throw automatically adds another 20% to the scale. So my third hit is 60% damage. My third, and in season 1, Blanca Chan did no scaling. Blanca Chan, which could hit you multiple times and gave you 2 mix-ups, had no scaling. They had to add it to season 2. So in other words, Kimberly, even if I hit you with this can and go into this cool combo here, I am doing like 2,000 damage, dude. I'm doing like 2,000. Oh yeah, if you stun the character, you have 10 years to reload. You have 10 years to reload, fortunately, so you can actually just do this. So you actually have time to reload and still throw the can out. So thankfully you can do that. I didn't know that this was going to turn into why Kimberly sucks the lessons right over here. God, she is just, ugh. I mean, Crouching Fear still works, thankfully. So that's still +1 at least, but this is now -1, so this doesn't work anymore. The real painful one is that this is not this is not a frame trap anymore. So this used to be a frame trap in the beta. It's not a frame trap anymore, so if they jab, they can stop you. No problem. No problem. Let's do run into Overhead, no. Let's do overhead, no. Let's do no. Let's try doing light one. Oh, that's a true block string, so I can't frame trap you with that. The only thing I can frame trap you with is standing medium, which is medium vagabond edge, which is -12, and slide, which is -12. So the only two things I can actually frame trap you with are -12 on block. So if I'm really gonna try to frame trap you, I have to put myself at super risk. And then, by the way, this move is a 24 frame startup, and it's -12. Like, you can't even make the 24 frame startup move plus on block, safe on block. Like, I can't even fish with this move. I'm not allowed to fish with this move when it's like I can probably beat it up like way super easy. Like this is -12. It can't even be -3. Like, you can't even just make this -3 or -4. This has to be -12. Like, if Kimberly does this, she literally has nothing she can cancel to that's safe on block outside of this, which gives you a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 frame gap to blow you up. So I bet you Bison can even back heavy kick you in the middle of this, right? So in other words, if I did something like look at that. Like, if I try to do the overhead, he can probably back heavy kick you. Look, like, she doesn't have anything that you can cancel. It's just that the best you can do is EX run into nothing, which is -3. So I have to spend 2 bars to keep myself safe and be -3 at a range in which you can throw me. Like, I don't know what they're doing with this character. I really don't know what they're doing with this character. Everything that was cool about her, like this is really sick, right? Like, if you try to like throw, she can really bait you off of this, which is really neat actually. So let's do it kind of realistically, delay it by 4 frames here. So I can do cool stuff like that, right? Like, that's hella neat. The problem is that it just doesn't hit crouchers, right? So, like, there's like no way, like, if you do this and they just stay crouching, they get to kill you basically. So I just don't. Oh, and then of course, like people said, this used to be -8 in the beta. This was -8 in the beta. Now it's -10. And then also when overhead landed before in the beta, she could link that. But now overhead pushes her so far away it doesn't work anymore. So in other words, before you used to be able to do overhead into like that. You used to be able to do that in the beta. But now they made the back heavy kick push you so far away that you don't get that off of it anymore. And that's not a combo. So you've lost that ability to get really good stuff off of your overhead. They took that away from her as well. They took a lot away from this character from the beta, honestly. And the worst thing about it is they're not giving her any of it back. They're not giving her any, like, the freaking buff that she got was light vagabond edge at magical distance to be +5 on hit. Or if it's blocked at magical distance, I'm -3. Like, I've found situations where, like, I can make it work. Like, that's neat. But I'm -3. What am I fishing for? What am I actually fishing for? Like, what is this gonna do? Whoops, what is this gonna do that this isn't gonna do? Whoops. It's the same thing, except that hits low. That's also +9 on hit, so I can combo into fierce. I'm +5 on block. And if they do a wake up OD, I'm losing to either one of them. even if I do the light Vagabond edge. So what is the point of this move to be -3? What am I fishing for? What am I trying to hit there? That crouching medium kick wouldn't hit. Like nothing. In fact, crouching medium kick will hit more things than the light Vagabond edge. So what the hell is the point of this buff? What is the point of this buff? Especially when there's, again, to illustrate just how bad that thing is. What are we fighting for is from Mega Man, one of the Mega Man X games, when Zero loses his girlfriend and he's like, what am I fighting for? But like if she walks back, like, so for example, if she doesn't walk back, it kind of works here. If I do like a micro walk on my standing after this, like, okay, this is kind of neat, but like, you see how I still have to aim it precisely? But now if I make her walk backwards, like, whoops. Like, this doesn't do shit. Like, I can't even, like, super walk into it. Like, she just moves away. And so, like, how am I ever supposed to precisely land this move when my opponent is just walking? How are you ever going to land this move precisely? Like, you can't. You just can't. Like, what kind of buff is that? What kind of buff is that? The best buff Kimberly got this entire patch was getting Wake Up Drive Reversal. And guess what? Every character got that. Every single character got Wake Up Drive Reversal. So that's not even a unique buff for Kimberly. This character, man. I can't, this is the, I mean, I hope at least that illustrates a lot of the things that makes me so frustrated about her. I mean, even when she drops the freaking spray can at you, she doesn't get any extra mix-ups. It's still a strike, throw, shimmy mix-up. It's the exact same mix-up. She just gets a, quote, better reward for it. And that's not even necessarily true because, again, the can causes so much goddamn scaling, she really doesn't get anything. Her level 2, yeah, like, oh, man, like, seriously, you could talk about this character forever about why this character is so bad. I mean, seriously, like if I just do this here, like that, right? And I'm like over here, like, whoops. I mean, what the fuck is this? Like, what is that? What is that? And you could be like, well, that's because Bison's defense sucks. So does Kimberly's. Kimberly's defense is worse than Bison's. What is Kimberly's strength? What is Kimberly's strength? What is her strength? What is good about this character? I don't want to say it because I don't want to sound like I'm downplaying my character like I've done in the past many times. But she's seriously the worst character in the game, and her corner mix-up isn't good. This is a strike, throw, shimmy mix-up. She doesn't gain anything off of that. I can't even left-right on this. I have no ability left-right on this. Blanca can left-right on the OD electricity activation, and he gets 2. If you block his overhead, he can overhead again and still hit you and keep going. With less damage scaling. Like, what? Like, the only thing she gets is the throw off of this. And like, remind you here that to land a level 3, you can't be powered up, so you're gonna do low damage anyway. So on that throw into the can mix-up there, which, oh my god, is so cheap, it did 4,000 damage. It has 4,000 damage. I did 4,000 damage with that. A raw level 3 super is 4,000 damage. A raw level 3 is 4,000 damage. It's not a lot. It's not a lot. It's not a lot of damage, man. Most characters can do so much more damage off of that. I just want to keep trying to see if I can figure out what makes her good, and she's interesting. The problem is interesting characters are not good characters. That's just what it is. If you're interesting, that usually means you're a bad character. That just literally means you're a bad character. And I really need to stop playing this character, honestly. Yeah, like I said, none of her mix-ups are exceptional. And every one of her mix-ups scales her damage severely to the point where she does no damage. It's like I said, I retweeted the super like crazy combo, this crazy sequence from Doggo. Doggo, I think that's his name, Doggo. He's a Japanese player who like just has some of the most sickest mix-ups. Yeah, Ram Doggo here. He just has some of the best mix-ups with Kimberly ever. And so like if I come over here and I do this, is that no? This? No. Oh, this is what I do. So this is, look, check out this sequence by Ram Doggo over here, okay? Check out the sequence here. Okay. 2 OD bars. 4 OD bars. 6 OD bars. So he just spent 6 OD bars for this mix-up over here. And you're watching this and you're like, that's a pretty, what the hell happened to Twitter? Why is Twitter not working all of a sudden? Hello? Dude. Dude. Hello, Twitter. Hello, Twitter. Okay, there we go. Ugh. Good God, I hate Twitter. Jesus Christ. Freaking hell, dude. Alright. Let's try this instead. Alright. So again, like, here we go again. So she needs 2 bars here. Sets up this mix-up. 2 bars there. 2 bars there. And that's a sick-ass mix-up. Look how much damage she did. She did 50% damage to Cammy. Spending 6 bars and both of her spray cans. She spent all of her resources except for super and she got 50% damage. Like... Like, this is the sickest mix-up. Like, it's so cool. And then she got no damage off of that. Like, I mean, some characters can do 50% damage probably on one mix-up without, like, any, like, barely any drive gauge at all. So, right? So, that's just the thing. It's like, I don't... Anyways. Let's talk about these other topics. I'm spending way too much time complaining about... Let's stop talking about this. Let's stop talking about Kimberly. All I'm doing is making myself mad, and I've already been streaming for 1 hour and 40 minutes, and I haven't done anything official yet. All right, let's just do this. Oh man, but yeah, again, everything Kimberly has does not make up for the fact that they gave her those many weaknesses. Everybody who says that she deserves to have no OD wake up or deserves to have low damage, it's because her mix-up is too strong. And again, her mix-up isn't that strong. She really doesn't have any extra real benefits. The spray can doesn't really do much. And if you know all of her mix-ups, every mix-up she puts you in is a strike, throw, shimmy mix-up. And when she puts you in those strike, throw, shimmy mix-ups, her reward is less than everybody else's. Her regular throw does 1080 damage. Like, the spray can is good outside of the corner only because of one buff. Only because of one buff. But again, like, it's just not gonna happen a lot. It's just not gonna happen a lot. But thankfully, this is a hard knockdown. So they can't roll backwards, right? So if I get this, I get the spray can mix-ups even mid-screen now. So you can use the spray can mid-screen thanks to this. But basically what I'm doing here is I'm giving up, you know, that's 2,800 right there. So I'm basically giving up 1,000 damage to hope that I can hit you with this mix-up. The problem is that this mix-up is still a strike, throw, shimmy mix-up. It's just a strike, throw, shimmy mix-up. It's the same mix-up. There's nothing extra. The can adds nothing except to your reward. That's it. That's all the can does, is add to the reward. And the crazy thing about it too is, now that I'm thinking about it, like, let's say I do shimmy you, right? Let's say I do shimmy you like this. If I get this, so that's 2,700 without spending a bar at all. So if I do something like this, whoops, let's take off, and then, oh yeah, I'll leave the punish counter on because it is a shimmy. So if I do something like this, so I got 3,000 damage, right? So 3,000 damage with the can off of the shimmy. And if I just do the shimmy without, if I just do this without it, I get 2,745 already. Like, so basically, I've gained 300 damage for my awesome can mix-up. I got 300 extra damage for my awesome can being planted on the ground that literally changed nothing except for the fact that I can throw you now. That's the only difference. That's the only thing this can does, is it lets you get a throw in that situation for 2,000 damage. For 2,000 damage. If I don't actually spend any meter. I get 2,000 damage for this awesome mix-up. I get as much damage for this awesome mix-up spending 2 OD bars as you would punish countering me with a throw. Well, it is on punish counter. Unfortunately, it's not. Oh, there it is. 2,040 damage. So he just punish countered me with a throw for 2,040 damage and spent no meter. And Kimberly doing this cool fancy, I mean, like, God damn it. I mean, I think this does more damage. Let's see. Okay, there you go. 2203. 2203 right there. Spending 2 OD off of a throw, I get 2,203 damage. Like, literally, the can doesn't add a mix-up. The can doesn't add a mix-up. It's the same thing. I mean, yes, you can add an overhead in here, for example, like that. so you can get some cool stuff. But again, her overhead, scales to 75% right away. And this is the best combo you can get off of her overhead. So her overhead is, her best combo is 1624 damage. Unless you have a bomb. Why did that miss? $2,078 damage. 2,078 damage, dude. Oh, anyways, yes. Unfortunately, King 9999, I'm still going on about Kim. Still mad about how bad this character is.